When it comes to celery, we not only enjoy its fleshy and juicy stems, but also its leaves. But we can also grow leaf celery, cultivated for its aromatic leaves as a spice or herb. Another common variety is celeriac, which is known for its thickened, round-shaped root, and it's presented in a separate vegetable course. Celery is primarily grown during the summer months as it is susceptible to frost damage. The cultivation process begins at the end of February with seed sowing in a warm location for seedling preparation. Direct sowing in the garden bed is not recommended as it has a lengthy germination period and the small plants would occupy space for an extended period. In home gardens, a single early sowing is sufficient to provide a continuous harvest from June to mid-October. Therefore, repeated sowings are not necessary. However, if blanching is desired, resulting in shaded stems, multiple sowings can be done in the spring for successive crops. Celery is grown from seedlings and seeds are sown in February at the same time as cabbage, Savoy cabbage, cauliflower, kohlrabi and chard. While the starting process is similar, celery seeds take longer to germinate and the seedlings should not be pricked out deeper than the level of the first leaves. Celery also grows more slowly and it's transplanted outdoors later. Begin by sowing several celery seeds in a large container filled with a moist substrate. Since celery seeds are tiny, cover them with a thin layer of dry substrate, only 0.2 centimeters. The ideal germination temperature for celery seeds is between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius, which is also suitable for other plants germinating at the same time. Since they germinate well in the dark, cover the seed tray. This also helps maintaining uniform humidity. It takes quite some time for celery seeds to germinate, usually from 14 to 20 days. After a week, check the covered sowing carefully and as soon as you see a first sprout, move the tray to a bright location. When pricking out, select well-developed plants with well-formed first leaves and only one true leaf. Then carefully transfer each plant to an individual medium-sized planting unit that contains a quality substrate mixture. When pricking celery, we are not only transplanting but also engaging in natural selection by picking the most well-developed plants. Care should be taken not to plant them deeper than they've previously grown, or at least not to cover the first leaves. For safe removal from other plants, use a wooden or a plastic stick to avoid touching the roots too much. When looking for a spot to place the plants, choose one with sufficient light and a temperature range of 18 to 22 degrees Celsius, which is suitable for most seedlings that we grow at the same time. At night, temperatures can drop till 8 degrees Celsius. Water them regularly every other day, just like other seedlings. And before moving them to an outdoor bed, acclimate the celery by placing them near a south-facing wall or a greenhouse for at least 4 days. This hardens them off and helps them to adapt to outdoor temperatures, particularly in fluctuations of nighttime temperatures. The first seedlings are transplanted outdoors at the end of April, about 50 to 60 days after sowing. We also need to follow the weather and rather wait with the transplantation until May if the temperatures in April are below usual average. I would avoid transplanting them if night temperatures are not yet above 5 degrees Celsius. Seedlings will still have enough nutrients in middle-sized planting units. Ideally, plants should have developed between 4 to 6 stems or leaves when transplanting. Seedlings are planted with 30 centimeters of spacing in 3 rows on a 75 centimeters wide bed and in 4 rows on a 100 centimeters wide bed in a zigzag pattern. When transplanting to a garden bed, avoid planting them too deep. Water the planting hole moderately, as the soil is usually sufficiently moist in the spring. In case of dry weather, water the entire surface of the garden bed. After transplanting, the garden bed may look empty, but the seedlings will soon grow and occupy the space. Be sure to cover such very early sowing with the garden fleece, preferably over tunnel hoops, because garden fleece must not exert any pressure on the seedlings. In our case, lettuce will bear the pressure, so hoops are not needed. Until mid-May, protect the plants from cold winds and chilly nights by covering them with a garden fleece. Remove the fleece and tunnel hoops when the weather becomes milder. Use garden tools to remove weeds growing between the plants and manually pluck out any individual weeds growing near the plants. Maintain proper spacing when transplanting to ensure that the plant's leaves shade the soil, reducing the need for watering and suppressing weed growth. In mid-May, consider mulching the weeded surface with fresh grass clippings, leaves, or straw to help retain moisture. Early transplanted plants develop deep roots by summer, reducing the need for watering during the hot months. With regular harvesting, the ratio of roots to leaf mass favors roots that can supply sufficient water to the leaves. However, during extended dry periods, 2 weeks or more, it's important to water the soil around the plants generously. For tall and thickened stems, practice blanching by wrapping paper around all stems of each plant, allowing the leaves to spread over the wrapped portion. This technique encourages vertical growth, prevents direct exposure to light, and results in longer, light green stems commonly seen in markets or shops. Without blanching, the plants will grow lower and thicker with completely green stems. The advantage of skipping the blanching process is the ability to harvest the crop for immediate consumption, whereas wrapping celery with paper requires waiting for a single harvest. Celery is a vegetable that grows in one place from spring to autumn. In spring, the celery seedlings are still very small, so we can easily transplant them alongside lettuce, spinach, or garden rocket. For about a month, the plants will grow side by side, and then the celery will take over. To optimize plant care and minimize work that needs to be done, we combine plants with a similar growing period together on the same garden bed. Thus, celery can easily share a garden bed with parsley, parsnips, chard, or celeriac. Celery leaves may develop spots which are indicative of a fungal disease. Promptly remove such leaves to prevent further spread. The health of celery plants greatly depends on the fertile soil. It thrives in a no-dig soil environment enriched with compost mulch. Stressful conditions can attract root or leaf aphids, but this can be managed by maintaining a compost mulch and providing adequate watering. To promote the growth of thick stems, remove any smaller wild stem at the base of the plant. Celery can be harvested gradually from mid-June to the end of September or until the arrival of the first frost. Despite being sown only once per season, it provides a continuous yield throughout the year. Regular manual harvesting of the oldest outer stems is key to this method. By removing older stems with leaves, the plant remains clean and new leaves grow undisturbed. This approach extends the harvest period with a small number of plants. The first harvest can begin in June when the stems have reached a height of at least 20 centimeters. Grasp the stem and tear it off by hand, leaving at least 5 leaf stalks. The leaves can also be used as a herb or stored for winter in freezer. If stems have been blanched, remove the paper and harvest the entire plant at once. The freshness and juiciness of celery are best enjoyed when it's freshly harvested from the garden. It's refreshing to eat it raw since it has high water and sodium content. Due to its high sodium content, celery stems can be used to make vegetable salt. But mostly celery is desired for making cleansing juices. We also prefer to add celery to vegetable stews. It can be stored in a cool place for up to a week. Any surplus stems and leaves can be chopped and frozen for longer-term storage. Well done on completing our celery cultivation course. With the insight you've gathered, you're ready to grow this crisp and nutritious vegetable, a staple in so many dishes. As your celery plant stands tall and vibrant in your garden, remember the knowledge and care that went into each stalk. Venture further with our other courses and let's keep becoming gardeners together.